There are programs over on the bleacher by the ladder right here. Be careful not to touch the ladder though. We are going to start with our commercial birds, production hens. This class has Casey Learoff, Isabella Moan, and Isabella Moan.
Quality pen, and we want birds that look good. And the reason that's important is because this is a poultry promotion. So we want people to say, let's have poultry tonight instead of pork, okay? Or eggs tonight instead of whatever. So that's why I've always thought it was odd that people don't have a problem when you wash your hog, but they think it's odd that you wash the chicken. And it makes the bird feel better, and the appearance is important, especially at the county fair, because this is a poultry promotion. So when I'm going through these pens, I'll have the youth take out one bird, and I'll take out the other bird. Then I start at the head. I look at the eye. If the eye needs to be bright, clear, perfectly round, pupil, that's a good. The eye is a good indicator of the health of a chicken. So if you have a runny nose, I know something isn't quite right. You either have allergies or you're getting sick. Well, if a chicken has a watery, bubbly eye, that means it's not feeling well. So that's the very first thing we look at. And then we look at the comb, we look at the we look at the wattles all the way down. And I know the comb has nothing to do with the egg-making ability of the chicken, but it stems right back to the uniformity of it. We want to pick out literal mirror images of each other. And then we work our way down, look at the wings, make sure there's nothing that would affect broken bone or something like that. And then we feel across the back to see how wide it is, how finished it is, and that determines the egg-making capabilities of the bird. And then I'll flip it over, and while I'm handling the breast, to see how wide it is, how finished it is, how long it is, I'll also be looking at its feet and the vent. So at least you understand what I'm looking at through this. And I know you don't have any broilers here this year, but I think it's very, very important that we discuss that, how judging sometimes changes over the years. In the past, we didn't care about the feet, we'll say, of a broiler or even a layer, because these layers, when they're spent at the commercial side, they go to be processed. Well, we didn't care if they had crooked toes and all that jazz. But now we do. It used to be the #1 parts of a chicken were the breast, leg, and thigh. Those were the three main parts, marketable parts of a chicken. Now it is, in this order, feet, wings, and breast. And the feet aspect of it is because of the Asian market. And if you don't believe me, the next time you go to Walmart, check it out. They're called chicken paws. They're $1.89 a pound. The legs and thighs are 59 cents a pound. So my only point in telling you this is not to get you to go out and buy chicken's feet. It's that over time, things do change a little bit once in a while. and what we considered non-important, non-essential, now are extremely important. So it's the same way with these spin hens. If they got crooked toes and stuff, we'd say it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect how they lay and all that kind of stuff. But now they're processed, and it does affect that. But anyway, just giving you a little brief overview of what we're going to be looking for, and at least you'll know what we're doing, okay? And if anybody has any questions along the process, just give me a holler. And please smile, okay? Thanks.
And I will bring the mic back to you.
Okay.
Again, our first class is production hens. Casey Learoff, Isabel Moan, and Isabel Moan are in this class.
Purple, blue, blue. A good solid blue. So again, with these pens, uniformity is the most important aspect of this because we're trying to get mirror images of each other. And then we want quality birds. And we're not quite as concerned about the feather quality because these are working chickens. But ideally, this is the Butler County Fair. This is the time for them to be slicked up, ready to go. And this young gentleman's done that with his birds. They're very uniform, quality birds. They look good. This will be a blue ribbon pen. And this young lady, she had 4 birds, and she did a good job matching them up. If you could handle them, you'd realize how much difference there are. And oftentimes, it's just a shot in the dark. But obviously, she spent a little time handling them and getting them matched up correctly. So these are both blue ribbon pens as well. This pen here is a little bit more slicked up. That's what we're after today for the appearance aspect of it. But they're good, healthy pens, and these two are blue ribbon pens. Thank you very much.
That is a blue ribbon for Casey Learoff, a blue for Isabella Moan, and a blue for Isabella Moan. Our next class is production pullets. Our participants are Bridget Miller, Henry Miller, Peter Miller, Tegan Sowers, and Tegan Sowers. Please remember that we're practicing social distancing during the county fair this year.
So these are the younger layers, the pullets, and it's the same theory all the way through. We're trying to get two birds as close to the same as possible. We're trying to get uniformity is the number one thing. Then the next thing is quality birds, and then we want birds that look good. And we had a little issue with a couple of them, just off a little bit. They're good, healthy birds. They look good. They're just off a little bit on uniformity, and we talked about it with some of the youth here, and we'll work on that for next year. So we're going to pick a champion, a reserve champion commercial of the layers. And this will be it because there's no market birds. But the reserve champion pen is going to be this young lady right here. Let's give her a nice round of applause. What's your name?
Bridget. No, Coldwater Dating Busy Gophers.
Okay, and today's champion pen will be this young gentleman here. Please give us your name and...
Casey, East Butler Ramblers.
Let's give a nice round of applause. Congratulations. I'd shake your hand, but...
The results of the production pullets: Bridget Miller, a blue; Henry Miller, a blue; Peter Miller, a blue; Tegan Sowers, a blue; and Tegan Sowers, a blue. Our grand champion is Casey Learoff, and our reserve champion is Bridget Miller. Casey's champion commercial poultry trophy is sponsored by Schmedeke Feed Mill, and the reserve champion commercial poultry trophy is sponsored by Plainfield Veterinary Services. Our next class is the exotic poultry, and this is the bantam breeds. Our participants are Harper Sowers, Tegan Sowers, Emma Wedeking, and Emma Wedeking. Today, our poultry judge is Bart Powles from Mason City. We are now into our next class, which is standard breeds. This is Emma Wedeking, and other birds, which will be Emma Wedeking and Abby Wilson. The results of the bantam breeds: Harper Sowers is a blue, Tiggin Sowers is a blue, Tiggin Sowers is a blue, Emma Wedeking is a blue, Emma Wedeking is a blue, and Emma Wedeking is a blue. We will now be choosing our champion ornamental poultry and our reserve champion ornamental poultry.
So this is wonderful to see a wide variety of poultry. A lot of fairs don't have this much diversity with lots more entries. So it's fun to see that. And it's great to see that the youth are expanding their poultry opportunities by involving other things than just broilers or layers. The bantams, they're more of the appearance is a bit more important simply because they're supposed to meet a standard. It's very similar to a dog show. They're breeding them to a standard, so they're supposed to have a certain tail angle, eye color, feather quality, and stuff like that. But it is through all these standard bred poultry that we get the commercial stuff. And if you talk to the old commercial guys, they still appreciate purebred stuff because they know that's where they got all of their stuff from in the 40s. So purebred poultry is not just for fun, it's a very important aspect to it. And when you're serious about it, you strive to meet those standard qualities, and it is fun to see a wide, diverse group of birds here. So I think they're all blue ribbons. We have some very nice quail and ducks, bantams, and pigeons. But today's reserve champion is going to be this first pen of ceramics right here. And what's your name and club?
Emma and Jackson Lucky Clovers.
Let's give her a nice round of applause. So on the surface, when you're looking at these, you think, well, they're not even the same color or same texture, but that's part of the deal with those. They're bred that way. You can't breed two frizzles together. It just doesn't work. So this actually is a breeding pair. And then today's champion pen will be this young lady with her pigeons. Give us your name and club.
Abby and Shell Rock Rockets.
Let's give her a nice round of applause, please. It's up to the Clover kids. Let's test it first.
Okay. Okay. Our standard breeds, Emma Wedeking received a blue. Our other birds, Emma Wedeking received a blue. Abby Wilson received a blue. Our champion ornamental poultry has a trophy sponsored by Drawley's Department Store, and that winner was Abby Wilson. Our reserve champion ornamental poultry trophy was sponsored by Shell Rock Rockets 4-H Club, and that belongs to Emma Wedeking. We are now in our Clover Kids Poultry class. Our participants are Charlie Hansel, Jacob Hansel, Blakely Sowers, and Jacob Hansel. Next, we are going to start our showmanship class. We're going to start with the juniors, then the intermediates, and then finish with the seniors. But before we do, the judge has a few comments.
So what I'd like to do, and down here, and then I'll demonstrate. A lot of people do showmanship different ways. I want to show you what I expect of this. I think showmanship is the most important aspect of the entire poultry show, simply because there's a correct and proper way to handle your animal. It doesn't matter if it's a hog, a dog, or a chicken. There's a correct and proper way. And the most important aspect of showmanship is the health and safety of the exhibitor. Okay, that's the number one thing. And then the second most important aspect is the health and safety of your neighbor. Now with a bantam chicken, it's one thing, but if you have a Muscovy duck or a goose, some of those wings can reach almost 3 feet. So you have a direct effect on your neighbor. So that's the second most important aspect. And then finally is the health and safety of your animal. There's a correct and proper way to handle these animals, and we need to know how to do that. And what I'd like to do, I'm not going to do a bunch of quiz bowl stuff. I'm not going to ask you about American class and all that kind of. I'm going to ask, it's very simple. I'm going to ask you to handle the bird correctly. And then after that, I'm going to ask you what I need to know about your chicken or goose, pigeon, whatever it is. Okay? So it's very simple. You don't have to be nervous. But I do want to show you exactly what's expected on the correct and proper way to handle your bird. First of all, it doesn't matter what it is, the animal comes out head first, and it goes in head first. And the reason that is so that if it flops its wings, it'll hit the side of the door and keep right on going and not dig in. All right, so that's most important. And what I've watched today, everybody's doing a pretty good job of that. So after you have the bird in your hand, right now the bird is resting on the palm of my hand. I got the legs between my fingers, and it's completely safe. It feels completely safe. All right. If I hold her like this, it feels like she's going to fall, so that's why she acts that way. But this way, she's completely comfortable. Now, if this was a goose or a Muscovy duck, I could also take this wing and tip it underneath here, okay, under my fingers. And I can do this and tip it under there. So now I have basically a football. You can do anything you want to with this bird. She can't do anything, all right? It's completely under control, and that's what we're after. So if this was a goose or that Muscovy duck, we'd walk around with it like this so its head is back there so it can't get into my eyes and that kind of stuff. Otherwise, the process is exactly the same, all right? And then for us, if you remember to keep the bird pointing towards your belly button, that's the simplest thing to remember, is to keep it pointed towards your belly button. And then I will ask, will you show me the bird's head? And we'll pretend like she's the judge. So you hold the bird up and show the head, both sides, and then put it back. And then I'll say, will you show me the wing? All right? So there's the wing, top and bottom. And then I'll say, will you show me the other wing? And then you just keep that bird pointing there and just reach top and bottom. All right? And then I'll say, will you show me the bird's back? And then you don't just go like this. You need to show me how wide it is. Okay? Show me how, there's the back. That's how wide it is. Okay? See that? Everybody see that? And then I'll say, and this is the number one point that youth mess up. Will you show me the bird's breast? All you have to do is tip it up. And then show me there's how wide it is, there's how long it is. At the same time, I can look at the bird's feet and its tail and vent. Okay? So we have a bird like this. And then I'll say, will you show me the bird's head? There's the head, both sides. Will you show me the wing? There's the wing. Will you show me the other wing? There's the other wing. Will you show me the bird's back? There's the back. And will you show me the bird's breast? There's the breast. And show me how wide it is and how long it is. And at the same time, I could look at the feet. Now, we think this is kind of silly, but this is the first live fair that I've judged this year. Everything else has been virtual. And we just did showmanship night before last with Worth County. And by doing this technique, we could do that very well. Because the idea of showmanship is to display your animal, no matter what it is, to the judge without the judge handling the bird. Okay? So just keep that in mind. You can't just say, here's the bird. You know, you have to display the bird so that the judge can assess it and make a ruling on that assessment without handling the bird. All right? And then put the bird back in the cage with, you know, when you get instructed to put the bird back, put it back, and then I'll ask you to tell me everything I need to know about that bird. Does that sound fair?
Okay.
So I'll come to the cage, so just pay attention. You should be alert and paying attention to what the judge is doing. Then I'll come to your cage and then just follow the instructions. Okay?
All right, we're going to start our junior showmanship.
Who are the juniors?
Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Then just stand up, right out here, a little ways so he knows to come to you. Bridget, are you a junior? Yeah. And are you Henry? No. Stand right out here so he knows to come to you. Francis Xavier, you're a little clover? Uh-huh. Okay. Do you have comments?
So first of all, let's give this group of juniors, this is a pretty intimidating thing. Let's give them a nice round of applause. They all did a good job. Do we need a, okay. So we need a champion and reserve. And today's champion is going to be this young lady right here. Will you please tell us your name and your club?
I'm Harper, and I'm Butler County Young Riders.
Let's give her a nice round of applause. The reserve champion is going to be this young lady right here. She just didn't offer quite as much information. She was, I think, nervous that her bird was squawking, and we really didn't care, but she did. And I think that messed her up a little bit with regard to her response. She just didn't give quite as good a response as her sister, but let's have your name and club.
Tegan, and I'm from Butler County Young Riders.
Let's give her a nice round of applause.
We're now going to start our intermediate showmanship. So if you are in 7th, 8th, or 9th grade, if you will take like 3 steps forward from your cage so our judge will know who to talk to. Our champion junior poultry showman happens to be Harper Sowers from Green, and her trophy is sponsored by Green Insurance Services. Our reserve champion poultry showman is Tegan Sowers, and her trophy is sponsored by Butler County 4-H.
Again, let's give it up for these 4-Hers and give them a nice round of applause. I know it doesn't seem much to us adults until you have some old guy standing beside you and you're supposed to explain stuff to them. I just kudos to all of them for doing that. Today's reserve champion is going to be this young lady right here. Please tell us your name and club.
Emma Jackson Lucky Clovers.
Let's give her a nice round of applause. And today's champion will be this young gentleman right here.
Peter and Coldwater Dane Busy Gophers.
Let's give him a nice round of applause.
We are now ready for our senior showmanship. If you are in the senior class, will you please take 3 steps away? Our champion intermediate poultry showman is Peter Miller. His trophy is sponsored by the Emerald Door Inn. Our reserve champion intermediate showmanship for poultry is Emma Wedeking. Her trophy is sponsored by Plainfield Veterinary Services.
So the pressure was on this young lady because if she clutched now, she's no longer the champion. She's the champion loser. So let's give her a nice round of applause. She's going to be today's champion. And what's your name and club?
Isabella, Shell Rock Rockets.
Again, let's give all these youth a nice round of applause for having the courage to stand up here and showing the beautiful display of birds, the poultry in the in the county of Butler seems to be well in hand. There's a lot of youth here, a lot of young people, and that's a wonderful thing to see. And thank you for showing such a nice display of poultry today.
Please give a nice round of applause for our judge today, Bart Powles. Those of you who received a champion or a reserve champion trophy, you may go over now and take pictures by the blue curtain. And then we'll conclude our online show with a few comments from our queen.
Hello, I am the 2020 Butler County Fair Queen, Christiana Bright. And we just finished up today. This morning we had the swine show, and today we had the poultry show. Congratulations to all the exhibitors. A big thank you for the judge to come out. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for our beef and dairy show. Have a good night. Thank you.